What's up guys, welcome to the Wolf's Den. My name is Wolf, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We got a really interesting video for you guys here today, and one that you guys have been really anticipating, and that being our first weapon review. Now before we get into this, some of you might know what this is, some of you may not. Let me jump in and just kind of tell you what we're looking at and where you might know it from. This is the WE MSK version 02. Now, the MSK comes in 3 different variations, to my knowledge. One is this, which is the 02, which has the PTS style stock and the short barrel. There's another version where it has the same stock, but a longer barrel, if that's something you're into. There's also a version that is the shorter barrel with a buffer tube style attachment that you can readily fit any buffer tube style stock to if you like that over this style stock. Now, where you guys might know this from and what it's actually called. This you might recognize from games or media such as MW2, MW3, Battlefield 4, Ghost Recon in various forms, whether that be Future Soldier, Wildlands, or Breakpoint. And what this actually is the Remington / Bushmaster / PTS Magpul ACR, or Masada. This is easily one of my favorite guns, and for that reason, it's going to be the first one that goes up on the channel as a deep dive review. So, right now you might notice that it looks a little bare compared to what it was in previous videos, or even just at the beginning of this video with that nice little intro. The reason for that is I'm going to introduce this gun just as is when you get it out of the box, what all you're looking at, and what it comes with. So, starting from the front and moving our way to the back. For now, just ignore this, we'll get to this later. I didn't want to take this part out, this is part of my custom build. This does not come with the gun standard. So, first and foremost, the gun does come with a replacement flash hider to replace the federally mandated orange tip that comes on here standard when you get it out of the box. This is a tri-prong 51T thread muzzle brake and will readily accept any quick attachment suppressor, mock suppressors, or other additional muzzle brakes that take 51T, which is actually pretty cool of WE to include, and it's a very nice steel construction, very durable, and it's not going to be just falling off or losing its threading on you at any given time, which is very, very nice. You also get 2 of these small segments here, and a big rail segment made of a similar aluminum type material as the rest of the upper receiver. Once again, very nice of WE to include them. As you will notice, these rail sections are not held on by M-LOK or key mod or like a standard flat top like the top 12 o'clock position is. These are held on with set screws that are specifically made for this handguard, similarly to the Midwest Industries handguard for the 416, kind of in the same vein, but a little different. So, where can you attach your rail segments is the question. Anywhere you see one of these little pins or screws, you can attach a rail segment there of any length, as long as you have them that are made for this rail. While that might be a little difficult to find, I found that there are some M-LOK compatible rail segments that you can easily just put in here with the right size screw, which is very, very convenient. One other thing to touch on before we move on with this handguard is that these little squares here on the side, these little cutouts, are not M-LOK compatible. They look like they could be, but they are not. So that's just a quick little side note before we move on. Rail segments can be attached anywhere from the left and right bottom, as well as the 45 degrees between the bottom and the sides. So that's very, very nice if you want to have a canted laser or a canted light of any kind on the left or right side. You can very easily do that, which is very, very convenient. This handguard is also where you would end up putting battery if this were still an AEG. However, I would suggest, personally, from my time playing with this as an AEG before I converted it, I would highly suggest you get a external PEC box, whether that be from Titan with their 11.1 lithium battery, which is a little more expensive, but works very, very well for what it does. Or simply get a matrix style mock PEC box that will fit an 11.1 PEC style battery. And the reason I suggest this is because your wire connection can easily be rerouted out through one of these little ports here, the little cutouts, and routed either to the right or left side of the gun with a PEC box, or if you want to put the PEC box up top, since there won't be a light or laser to contend with your iron sights, it won't be too much of a problem. You can just reroute it up to the top if you so choose, which is very, very nice. Makes it really easy to store a battery, and it really solves that issue by having this handguard instead of some of the more like sturdy or solid without the cutout style handguards that the ACR can have. Moving up to the top rail, it's a full top rail along the entire top, so there's no separation like on some M4s where there's spaces where the rail is solid and you can't put something there. It's a full Picatinny top rail, completely standard, anything can fit onto it. Very, very nice. And the gun does, in fact, come with these very nice steel flip-up sights with the front and rear. Very, very nice. Similar to a Troy style or a Magpul style. So all you have to do is, as you saw, you just flip them up and they lock in place. They're not going to go anywhere until you press the little button on each side, here and here. So you press this in and just push down with the palm of your hand, like so. Touching on the rear sight, as you can see, there's an aperture here. It's a little bigger, and then you can just simply flip it this way and get a little smaller for range. Very nice iron sight, very good quality. And that brings us to the rest of the upper receiver of the gun. The first thing to touch on, of course, being our charging handle. This, unfortunately, is one of the few things that is not ambidextrous on this rifle. It is only on the one side, and to my knowledge, you cannot switch it very easily. So, you just simply pull back with your left or right hand, whichever you prefer. Probably your left hand, given that's the side that it's on, and it will lock about 50% of the way all the way back. And then you take your finger and you press down either on this side or the opposite side to release your mock bolt and send it forward. And that, of course, being your ambidextrous bolt release down here by your mag well. Your mag well, of course, will accept any form of standard M4 mag, anything from the e-bike BAMF mags that you see here to a regular Stanag mag, or even if you want to get really fancy, the PTS EPM1s. Just about anything will fit, and you can easily tell if it's inserted all the way because this little tab will be flush with the rest of the receiver. Moving up, this is your mag release here, ambidextrous on both sides, so very, very convenient. And then you also have your fire selector right here, which goes between safe, semi, and full auto. Out of the box, this gun also comes with multiple sling attachment points, one being right here on the left side of the gun for right-handed shooters, and then you have one here on the back of the stock, and one on the exact same spot on the other side of the stock, as well as the little loop here to loop in a sling on the back of your stock as well. So overall, a very left-handed or right-handed friendly gun, aside from the charging handle and of course this sling attachment point here. The stock, getting into this is the last piece before we move on. The stock itself is a 6-position telescoping stock going all the way out to this position, or all the way crunched down as you saw before, and it also includes a single stage cheek riser. Some people argue that this probably won't do a whole lot for you, but for me personally, I think it does help me get up on my optic a little more than just flat. But of course, that's all up to you. One other thing to note about the stock before moving to the construction of the lower receiver is it can indeed fold with just pushing in this button and tilting all the way over. It doesn't lock in anywhere or anything, it's just simply on a hinge, so that way when it gets here, it just stops. And then you just simply bring it back around to the side. And that is pretty much it as far as the rifle goes. The rifle will come with a high capacity PMag in the box when you get it. Not one of these mid caps, but it is a 300 round PMag. So to start out, you get a nice rifle, very durable. Complete upper receiver is made out of aluminum type metal, and the stock and lower is made completely out of a very nice nylon polymer. Nothing on this gun is ever going to break, creak, or jiggle on you for the most part. So overall, very, very nice rifle. However, let's get to my personal additions right now. Hang on there, guys. Really quick, before we get to the nerdy bits of the inside of this gun, we're going to do a little shooting compilation here. So, really quick, just a quick breakdown of what we got going on. As I said before, we got our WE ACR right here, and we're going to be doing some test fire on a metal plate down range right here. Now, this gun on a chrono registers at 80 psi, about 300 to 350 FPS at 1.5 joules. Now, if we want to get a little crazy, you can bump it up to 120, get that nice 380 to 400 range at 2.1 joules. But for field regulations, we're going to keep it at 80 to keep it nice and kosher for everybody. Now, let's get to the cool bit and just rip some havoc on this metal plate. Well, as you guys can see, very, very accurate on target. It's about 20-30 feet out from the target. Pretty accurate at distance. Now, let's get back inside and take a look at the nerdy bits of this rifle. Alright, we've added quite a bit of weight to this gun, as you can probably tell. And let's go over what additions I've made to this rifle to make it a little more unique outside of what comes with the box. Starting up front, we have a PTS ACC 2000 Maxx suppressor that's simply locked onto the 51T threaded muzzle brake that we talked about earlier that comes with the gun. Once again, very convenient. All you have to do is get the suppressor and it will simply thread on right to your muzzle brake for you, and you have a very nice, very clean looking suppressor system already for your rifle. Next thing, moving back, on the side rails, I have added some Magpul XTM rail cover segments, one on each side, just for a little added grip, and to cover those aluminum rail segments so they don't get all scratched up and messed around with. I have also added a Magpul AFG, or angled foregrip. I prefer this over a standard vertical grip. It just handles a little better and feels a little nicer in the hand. So, personal preference, that's what I went with to help keep my rifle nice and steady in my hand when I'm shooting. Moving to my optics setup, I have a replica G33 magnifier that flips to the side here, so I can then just shoot with my replica EOTech XPS-03. And this combo works very, very well and looks very, very nice on this rifle setup. Now, let's talk internals for a second. Internally, this is a Polarstar F2, just the basic model of the F2, nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, using the VFC SCAR nozzle, and for the barrel assembly, I am using a Prometheus 6.03 Tightbore inner barrel at 407 millimeters, coming right about here on my suppressor. When I would take this off, you'd be able to see it very clearly. And paired with that inner barrel, I have a Prometheus blue flat hop bucking and a Maple Leaf Omega hop-up tensioner to get a nice clean arc on my BB as I'm coming out of the barrel. My hop-up unit is a Maxx CNC VFC SCAR hop-up unit with that nice rotary dial that are numbered and very clear on what you're setting it to. makes your life a little easier, as this gun does not come standard with a rotary style. It comes with a dial style, or like the little gears on the side, the 2 gears that raise and lower your hop-up bar. But this one I have fitted with a Maxx style rotary one to make my life a little easier. And that is pretty much the gist of it. Overall, very simple build. It's kind of a sleeper build from the looks of it. And if you guys are interested, I will leave a list in the description of everything I've added to it. That's basically going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed, and I appreciate all of you sticking around to the end. If you enjoyed, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you enjoyed. And be sure to let me know if you guys want to see more content like this out of my gun locker in the future. I have plenty of guns that I could go over and review and kind of give my 2 cents on. But if this isn't your thing, be sure to let me know that as well. I don't want to make content that you guys aren't going to enjoy and like watching. So if you guys just want me to stick to my gameplay videos every Wednesday, please let me know that as well. Be sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed today's episode. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video like this every Wednesday. As always, this has been Wolf. I hope to see you guys next time I hit the field.